Good morning and welcome to Live Without Limits. Transform your thinking to redesign your life. I'm your host, Davida Shinsky. Does your phone feel like it's buzzing nonstop? Is your to-do list longer than your arm? Do you scroll through headlines and just feel overwhelmed? Like you've caught in a whirlwind or of demands, notifications, and uncertainty. If you're nodding along, you're defining you're definitely not alone. So in today's fast-paced world, chaos often feels like the default is setting in. So we're talking about the unshakable you, building inner resilience against chaos. But what if you could build an inner fortress, an unshakable core of resilience right in the middle of it all? That's exactly what we're exploring today in Live Without Limits. This episode is titled The Unshakable You, Building Inner Resistance Against Chaos. We're diving deep into how to cultivate the sense of inner stability, quiet strength, the unshakable quality, even when the world around you feels anything but peaceful. This is key to unlocking your potential and truly living without limits. Over the next 30 minutes, my goal is to help you understand why external chaos throws us off balance, and more importantly, equip you with practical, actionable tools that your blueprint to building that inner resilience. We'll explore simple yet powerful techniques rooted in mindfulness, mindset shifts, and effective coping strategies. These are tools designed not just to eliminate the chaos, because often that's impossible, but to strengthen your core so you can navigate it with greater ease, clarity, and power. By the end of this episode, you'll have a clearer path toward becoming the unshakable you, ready to face challenges and unlock your potential no matter what storms are raging outside. So let's start by understanding the landscape. What exactly do we mean by chaos? And what is this inner resilience we're using to build? Understanding the landscape, chaos versus resilience. When we talk about the external chaos, we're referring to all those pressures and demands coming from outside ourselves. Think about it. The relentless pace of work deadlines, juggling family responsibilities, financial worries, the constant barrage of information and misinformation from news and social media, unexpected life events like illness or job loss, even just the daily grind of traffic and errands. It's the feeling that things are unpredictable, overwhelming, and often completely out of control. Now, contrast that with inner resilience. It's crucial to understand that inner resilience isn't about living a life free from problems or challenges. It's not about floating on a cloud of blissful ignorance. Rather, inner resilience is an internal state, a skill that you cultivate. It's that feeling of calm, stability, and groundedness that you can access despite the internal circumstances. It's the ability to remain centered even when things are turbulent. It's the quiet confidence that you can handle what comes your way without being completely thrown off course. So, how does this external chaos disrupt this inner resilience? When we're constantly bombarded by stressors, our body's natural alarm system, the stress response, often called the flight or fight response, gets triggered. Hormones like adrenaline or cortisol flood our system, preparing us to face a perceived threat. While this is helpful, it genuinely is a dangerous situation. Chronic activation due to everyday chaos keeps us in a state of high alert. This constant physiological stress makes it incredibly difficult to feel calm, think clearly, or access that state of inner resilience. We feel anxious, irritable, exhausted, or disconnected. And cultivating inner resilience isn't just a nice to have, it's essential for our overall well being. When we're internally calm, we make better decisions, we communicate more effectively, we have more energy and focus. We're better equipped to handle challenges creatively and constructively. Finding that inner anchor allows us not just to survive the chaos, but to navigate it more skillfully and even find moments of clarity and purpose within it. It's about reclaiming your internal remote control rather than letting the external world dictate your inner state. Building your foundation and your core resilience practices. Okay, we understand the challenge. Now, let's move into the how. How do we actually start building this foundation of inner resilience? The good news is it doesn't require drastic life changes. It starts with simple foundational practices that train our minds, calm our nervous systems, and actively build our resilience muscle. Let's explore the three core pillars of mindfulness, meditation, and the power of our own breath. Mindfulness. You've probably heard this term a lot, and at its core, mindfulness is simply about paying attention to purpose in the present moment and without judgment. It sounds simple, doesn't it? But thinking about how often our minds are not here, we're rehashing the past, worrying about the future, or lost in a daydream. Mindfulness brings us back to the right here and now. Let's try a very quick exercise. Right now, just notice where you are. Feel the surface supporting you. Maybe a chair, the floor. Notice the sounds around you without labeling them good or bad. Now, bring your attention to your breath. Just feel the sensation of the air moving in and moving out, in and out, just for a few seconds. Pause for 15 to 20 seconds. Okay, that's a moment of mindfulness. You can practice this anywhere. Try bringing mindfulness attention to brushing your teeth, washing dishes, walking to your car, or truly listening when someone speaks to you. It's about anchoring yourself in the present time. Now, let's talk about meditation. For some, the word meditation might conjure up issues of monks sitting silently for hours, but it doesn't have to be intimidating. Think of meditation as an exercise for your brain. It's a formal practice where we intentionally train our attention and awareness, often by focusing on a specific object like the breath, a sound, a sensation, or a mantra. The goal isn't necessarily to stop thinking. Thoughts will always arise, but to become more aware of our thoughts without getting carried away by them. We learn to observe them, to acknowledge them, and gently guide our focus back when we wander. There are many types, as we learned from sources like the Mayo Clinic, guided meditation, where you follow someone's voice, or as great for beginners. Mantra meditation involves repeating a word or a phrase. Focused attention meditation involves concentrating on your breath. Even just 5 to 10 minutes a day can make a difference. Research shows that meditation helps reduce stress, increase self awareness, improve focus, and promote emotional regulation, all key components for inner resilience. Our third foundational practice is perhaps the most accessible tool we have, our breath. It's always with us and consciously working when it is one of the quickest ways to shift our physiological state from stressed to calm. When we're stressed, our breathing often becomes shallow, rapid, and high in the chest. This signals danger to our brain. By intentionally slowing down and deepening our breathing, using our diaphragm, that muscle below our lungs, we signal safety and relaxation to our nervous system. Let's try a simple technique right now. Place one hand on your chest and the other on your belly. As you inhale slowly through your nose, try to let your belly expand outward like you're filling a balloon. Feel the hand on your belly rise more than the hand on your chest. Then Exhale slowly through your mouth or nose, letting your belly gently fall. Let's try a, a count. Inhale for a count of 4. Pause. Hold gently for 4. Pause. And exhale slowly for a count of 6. Pause. Try a few more rounds on your own. Pause for 20 seconds. Remember, your breath is your anchor. In moments of stress, overwhelm, or chaos, consciously returning to this deep, slow breathing can make an immediate difference. Now, let's navigate the storm. Strategies for chaos management. We've laid the foundation with mindfulness, meditation, and breath work. Now, let's build on that with a specific strategy for managing those external pressures when they feel overwhelming. These are the tools to help you navigate the storm itself, actively strengthening. First, let's embrace the principle of acceptance and control, often summarized beautifully in the Serenity Prayer, as highlighted by resources like the Wellness Center. Ask yourself, in this situation, this feeling, this external event, something I can actually change or control? If the answer is yes, then focus on your energy there. Take constructive action. But if the answer is no, if it's not truly outside your control, like global events, the weather, or someone else's choices, then the practice becomes acceptance. This isn't resignation. It's wisely conserving your energy for what you can influence, and primarily your own response. Your attitude and your actions fighting against uncontrollable reality only drains you. Let's talk about setting healthy boundaries. In a world that constantly demands our attention, boundaries are crucial for protecting our inner resilience. This means learning to say no gracefully but firmly to commitments that overextend you. It means setting limits on work hours, even if you work from home. It involves curating your information diet, maybe limiting your exposure to distressing news or unfollowing social media accounts that trigger anxiety. It also means scheduling actual downtime, moments where you're not obligated to do anything, allowing yourself space to recharge. Boundaries aren't selfish, they are essential self care for maintaining balance amidst chaos. Another powerful strategy is to recognize and reframe, essentially changing how you think about a situation. Our feelings are often generated not by the event itself, but by our interpretation of it. When faced with chaos or difficulty, can we find a different perspective instead of seeing a setback, or a disaster, could you view it as a learning opportunity instead of focusing on what's going wrong? Can you consciously shift your attention to what's still going right or what you're grateful for? This doesn't mean ignoring reality, but actively choosing a more constructive and less distressing lens through which to view it. When chaos feels overwhelming, sometimes the best antidote is focused action and prioritization. Often, overwhelm comes from feeling like everything needs to be done at once. Try breaking down large, daunting tasks into smaller, manageable steps. What's the very next single action you can take? Focus solely on that. Avoid the temptation to multitask, which often fragments our attention and increases stress. Completing even one small step can build momentum and reduce that feeling of being paralyzed by chaos. Remember the power of supportive practices. As mentioned in resources like the Wellness Center article, things like spending time in nature, even just a few minutes in a park, can be incredibly grounding. Regularly practicing gratitude, maybe keeping a journal, or just mentally noting things that you appreciate shifts focus away from negativity. Engaging in creative outlets like writing, drawing, or music can be a wonderful way to process emotions, find what resonates with you, and integrate it. Now we're going to talk about weaving resilience into your daily life. We've covered some powerful foundational practices and specific strategies, but the real magic happens when we weave these into the fabric of your daily lives. It's not just about finding an extra hour you don't have, it's about integrating small moments of resilience and presence. Remember, consistency trumps intensity. A 5-minute meditation practiced daily is often more beneficial than an hour-long session once a month. Small, regular efforts build that resilience muscle over time, making you more unshakable. Don't aim for perfection, aim for practice. So, how can we integrate these? Maybe start your day with a 3 to 5 minute mindful breathing before checking your phone. Use your commute, if you have one, to practice mindful listening to music or just observing your surroundings instead of stressing about traffic. Take a micro break during your workday. Stand up, stretch, take 3 deep breaths. Practice mindful eating for one meal of a day, truly savoring the taste and textures before a potentially stressful meeting or conversation. Take a minute to ground yourself with your breath. Look for these small windows. They add up. And crucially, practice self compassion. There will be days when you feel overwhelmed. despite your best efforts. There will be times that you forget to practice or feel like you're not making progress. That's okay. That's human. Treat yourself with the same kindness and understanding that you would offer a friend in the same situation. Inner resilience isn't a destination that you arrive at or stay at. It's an ongoing practice, a journey of returning again and again to your center. As we wrap up our time together today, let's quickly recap the key takeaways from our exploration of building inner resilience against chaos. We talked about understanding the difference between external chaos and internal resistance, recognizing how stress impacts us. We explored foundational practices like mindfulness, meditation, and the power of conscious breathing as anchors to build our resilience muscle. We've then discussed practical strategies for navigating chaos, including acceptance versus control, setting healthy boundaries, reframing our perspectives, taking focused action, and incorporating supportive habits like gratitude and time in nature. And finally, we emphasized the importance of weaving these practices into daily life with consistency and self-compassion to become truly unshakable, building inner resilience amongst the inevitable chaos of life isn't about eliminating the storm. It's about learning to be calm within the storm, becoming that unshakable you. It's an active, ongoing practice, a skill you can cultivate over time. My encouragement to you today is simple. Don't try to implement everything at once. Choose just one technique or strategy that resonates with you. Maybe it's the 4-4-6 breath or the 5-minute morning mindfulness practice or setting a boundary around news consumption. Commit to just trying that one thing this week and see how it feels. So I would like to thank you for joining me today on Live Without Limits and for the episode of The Unshakable You, Building Inner Resilience Against Chaos. I hope that you found something valuable here to help support you in your journey to unlock your potential. And think about it this way. You have the control over your life, and it's up to you to decide if you're going to let stress control you or whether or not you're going to take more control over your life and live the best quality of life possible. And in doing so, remember this: people around us are going to want to control us. But if we allow that, that creates stress in our lives because there's going to be a time when they're not there. And if you allow them to control your life, then when the time comes that you have to take control, you are going to be lost. This is why it's so important to consider resilience over chaos, because the people around us like to create the chaos.